is Marin Ellis, Rev Trainer with Divine Design Fitness. And you know what? It's the end of the year. We're getting ready to go into 2024 if you're watching
Mhm.
this now, but you might be watching this at some point in time. And we are all thinking about after we eat all this holiday food, all the good stuff, all the hog moss, all the we want to we want to figure out how can we shed a lot of these pounds. Um, and if you don't know much about Divine Design Fitness, we're a faith-based fitness company. Faith, fitness, and fashion are our three pillars. These are what we stand on. We want to feel good, we want to look good, and we want to look good while we work out. So part of our community, and we're all about community, is my client, my friend. I call her my sis, Erica Brew. What's up? Say what's up to the people, Erica.
What's up, everybody?
So I just wanted to ask you a few questions, Erica, and just get an understanding about your journey. Where have you been? Where are you? Where are you looking to go? All right,
Okay,
sounds good.
let's do it.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so when we started working together, and it's been it's been a while, but when we
It's
started
been a
working
minute. Yeah,
together, yeah, what were you struggling with? What did you find yourself struggling with the most?
consistency.
Consistency. Yeah, let's
Definitely
talk more about that.
consistency. Because it was just me. I was just relying on myself to get up
Mm,
and move my body. And
mm,
it's easy to come up with an excuse on my own, and no one's keeping
mm,
me accountable. No one's looking for me to show up somewhere. No one's tracking what I'm doing. And so if I didn't feel like it, or if I had a bad day, or if I just wasn't in the mood, or if I was slightly inconvenienced in any way, it was excuse enough for me to say, I can skip today and do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow would turn into 3 days, and then 7 days. And then I look up and it's been 6 months. And so consistency is something that I struggled with tremendously prior to hooking up with Divine Design Fitness.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, how consistent did you find yourself being before you started working with us?
Um, I mean, I would try to push myself. I went through these like ebbs and flows, right? So I went through this one season where I was like super dedicated and I would work out like 4 times a week. And then life happened and there was a huge dip, and there might have been twice a week. And then I kicked my butt back into high gear and got back to like 3 or 4 days a week. And so prior to working out with Divine Design Fitness, I was just proud if I could do twice a week. I was just like, okay, that's something. I wouldn't always make it, but I was at least happy if I got something in twice a week.
Got you, got you. And twice a week isn't necessarily bad. At least you were trying to be consistent with twice a week until you
Mhm.
scaled up. Were there any other areas you were struggling with? Was food ever an issue or anything
Food
like that?
has always been an issue. Like, I am a Louisiana girl, and so need I say more? Like, I mean, anywhere in the South, food is surrounding pretty much everything you do, every celebration, every sad moment, every bored moment, just because, like, whatever the occasion, whatever the reason, food is going to be at the heart of it. And it's not always good stuff. I mean, it tastes
Mm.
good, but it's not always good for you. So,
Right, right.
food has always been a struggle for me because I'm an emotional eater. Whether I had a great day or a horrible
Mhm.
day, I'm going to find solace in food, which is awful. That's not a great relationship with food, and I'm aware of that, and I've been aware of that for a long time. And so
Mhm.
yeah, food was a huge struggle. Consistency, like knowledge of what to do, what
Mm.
areas to work, and like form, because if there was no one there correcting me, I could hurt myself if I'm doing something the wrong way. I wasn't challenging myself, I wasn't increasing my weight or increasing my reps or trying something different because I didn't have the knowledge of what I needed to do. So all those areas were just huge, huge struggles for me.
Got you, got you, got you. What effect did those struggles have on your life? Like, and when I say life, I'm talking about all aspects of your life, physically, spiritually, mentally.
So for a long time, I led worship at various churches, where whatever church I was at, and that is a a cardio workout, if you will. And
To
so
say the least.
to say the least. And so, breath control, whether you're leading out in a song or you're just doing the
Mhm,
background, like whatever part of it requires energy. And
mhm,
so, I found that if I wasn't moving my body, if I wasn't eating good, I felt it on stage on Sunday or Wednesday or
mhm,
wherever, whatever point in time I was leading worship. I felt it. I felt like my endurance not being good. I felt my breath control being trash. I felt like not being able to breathe and sing. It was just I could feel the effects of it in so many other areas of my life.
mhm,
If whatever was required of me at work, whether it was
mhm,
moving around a lot or going up and down stairs, or because I mean, working in nonprofit, you're going to
mhm.
wear so many different hats on
Right.
any given day. And so there were times I would have to haul things or move things. And I'm like, why am I so out of breath? Why am I so
Mhm,
winded? Well, because you're sedentary for like
mhm.
90% of your day, you know? And
Right.
so I was feeling the effects of that in so many other spaces and areas of my life. Shopping, which I love to do, but hated it when I was overweight and didn't like the way
Mm,
anything fit. So I'm
mm.
in the fitting room having a meltdown because
Right.
nothing looks good on me or I'm not comfortable in anything. So all these other spaces were affected because of what I wasn't consistently doing, whether it's in the gym or at home. My own health wasn't
Mhm,
priority, and so all these
mm,
other areas were being hit as well.
mm. That's interesting you say that all these other areas were a priority. So the most important thing outside of relationship with God is your physical body just suffered. Like,
Yes.
and we don't,
Yeah.
I found that a lot of people don't recognize it till it's too late.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah, we got to rethink our priority levels
Exactly.
there. Okay. Okay.
Proactive
Um,
instead of reactive.
exactly. Exactly. So let's talk a little bit more about, you said clothes didn't fit, things like that. Let kind of help us paint a picture of what your health looked like, if you don't mind sharing, like at a point in time, what weight were you, or what size clothes were you wearing, or what was your average day of eating like paint
Okay.
that picture.
At my heaviest, I was a 16, and I feel like scale, I remember being like 223
Hmm.
at my biggest.
And how tall are
And
you?
I'm like 5'5",
Okay.
so that's a lot of weight
Hmm.
with nowhere to go. In
Right.
terms
Right,
in
but
terms of height,
vertically.
it just yeah,
Right.
yeah. It
Right.
doesn't have anywhere to go. So um I mean, it was just constant discomfort in my
Mm,
skin. And
mm,
I would wake up and, you know, maybe stop at a drive through on my way to work, a McDonald's
mm,
or a Burger King, and have hotcakes or
mm,
some sort of croissant or something like that, and
mhm.
a Coke and the hash browns that go with it. And then
Right.
lunchtime was eating out again wherever my coworkers um, were eating or whatever we were having, whether it was pizza or whatever it was. So then there's that heavy meal, sitting down at the desk at the computer and then snacking throughout the day. I remember one job that I worked at. This was awful now that I think back on it, but there were like three different break rooms, and the
Mhm.
one, of course, the one I sat closest to housed all of the sodas. I'm talking every soda. Any new soda hit the street, it was in that refrigerator.
Who
Like,
was in there?
it was just stocked full of sodas and all the sugary drinks, the Snapples and the
Mm,
I mean, that was the point, the purpose of that break room. And
okay.
I think that's where I got like addicted to sodas, Coke specifically. And so because it was literally right across the hall from where I sat,
Right.
I was
Right.
drinking them all day, every day, not even
Mhm.
cognizant of how much sugar I was putting in my
Mm,
body. And then sitting at the computer, if somebody was getting up, anybody need anything? Yeah, bring me a Coke or bring me a whatever. And it was just,
mm.
it was awful. But
Right. How many would you say
that's
you
what I
drank
was
in a day?
probably four.
Oh, wow.
Probably
Gotcha.
like
And
4 or
sitting
5
down
in
all
a
day.
day, and sitting down all day. I might
Mm,
grab one on my way out to drink on my way home. Like, it was
mhm,
just like 4 sodas like a day.
mm.
That's wild. That's
That's wild.
honestly wild. And so
Mhm,
just horrible habits like that, that I just didn't even I wasn't even aware. I really wasn't aware of what I was doing to my body.
mm,
Um And I was married at the time, and then once that was in shambles and beginning the process of a divorce, that's when things really just took a stark turn
Mm.
for the worst.
Okay.
Because I mean, of course, the first thing that came to my mind was, "Oh my gosh, this is all my fault." And
Mm.
and then it became, "Well, this is my fault because of the way I look. He did what he did because of the weight that I've gained. He did what he did because he's no longer attracted to me because I don't look good. I don't feel good." And I was just going about my day. I was just going about my life, not stopping to think for a second about what I was doing to my body because it just felt good in the moment. Like, oh, this
Right.
food is good. And so I'm in a good mood. So I'm going to eat this. And it just felt good. Or, oh my gosh, I had a stressful day. I'm going to stop and get ice cream on my way home. And that's just going to make
Mm.
me feel better. And everything was about how food made me feel or where my emotions were. This was the antidote for whatever
Mm.
emotion I was feeling in the moment, not realizing like, I was killing myself emotionally, also physically. I mean, thank God I didn't have like diabetes or high blood pressure or anything like that, which are super common in
Mm-hmm.
especially the Black community
Right.
specifically.
Right.
But I was just slowly killing myself and not even aware of it.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's a slow drip. It's like a slow way to torture yourself.
Seriously, yeah.
And you just don't realize it. You don't realize it. And the divorce is very common, and it takes a lot out of you. I mean, it takes a lot out of you, even if it's a mutual situation.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
one of those things where it's just a stressful thing, and
Yeah.
you're looking for something to help comfort you.
Yes.
And you know, a lot of times we say, "Oh, pray about it, do this, do that." And yes, you need to pray through things, you
Yes.
need to go through it.
Yes.
But a lot of times the easiest thing is to grab that Snickers bar or grab
Yeah. Yeah.
and then get that sugar rush or comfort
Exactly.
food as we call it. Um,
Exactly. Yeah. I'm
yeah.
done
So
praying now. Let me go get this burger. Like, what?
right. I'm praying to get through this, but I'll later be praying for my blood pressure to go down.
Absolutely. 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 Yep.
Got you, got you. How were your energy levels like when you were eating like this, or what was your energy levels like?
Awful. I had no energy. It was awful. And I mean, a simple walk to the mailbox would
Mm,
leave me like, whew, I'm tired. Like,
mm,
you walk to the mailbox
right.
maybe 40 feet away, from the
Wow.
house. But
Right.
yeah, like simple things like that. The house that I lived in at the time had stairs in it. I would get to the top of the stairs like, whew,
Mm,
all right, what? Are you serious?
right.
Like, but
Right.
that was my life because of the way that I was just torturing my temple. Like
Mm,
it was just
mm,
awful, but it was all self-inflicted. And my excuse was, well, this is what I'm going through, so this is helping. And at least it's not alcohol, at least it's not a drug, or at least it's not a
mhm.
pill, or like that makes it better. I mean, pick your poison essentially, because I mean it's all horrible,
Right.
outside of moderation. But
Mhm.
energy levels were, I mean, just in the trash. It was just awful.
Were you resting? Were you able to get sleep at night, or how was that?
Eventually
Okay.
I would. But I found that when I went through these like long periods of time of just eating any and everything,
Hmm.
I found it hard to fall asleep. And then when I would fall asleep, it was time for me to get up, and waking up was just like I'd wake up with headaches, because of however much salt or sugar intake I had right
Hmm.
before I went to bed. I felt like I needed naps all the time. I never felt like
Right.
I was actually getting rest. I just felt like
Mm,
my body would stop and then it would get up and start moving again, but I never felt rested.
gotcha.
I never felt rested. I just always felt like I was in a perpetual state of exhaustion.
Gotcha.
Spurts of
That's
like a
not a good.
sugar rush and then the crash, like
Mhm.
constant. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, yeah, that's a tough way to live. I've been there. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
And
No
then at some
fun.
point, you're just like, this is this. There's got to be more than life than just this.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So you said you worked out before. Sometimes you would try to do it on your own 2 days a week. Let's go and start talking about what are some of the things you tried, like when you had that come to Jesus movement with yourself and like, hey, I have to do something else.
Hmm.
What kind of stuff did you try before?
When it finally clicked and I finally said, Erica, enough is enough. You cannot continue this way. Um, I was on I would get in there and get in the gym and do cardio for like 15, 20 minutes. Um, I would do weights. I
Mhm.
would do different machines. The gym at my apartment complex at the time was like really nice. And so we
Mhm.
had several different options. And so I would just switch it up every day. I would try this or try that. I would get on YouTube and see what's this workout. I would Google different, what can I do for legs? What can I do for abs? What can I do for arms? Like all these different workouts. And then when I was really feeling myself, I started doing like two a days, 3 times a
Mhm.
week.
Mhm.
And I really got intentional about what I was eating and portion control. And if it wasn't in my house, I wasn't eating it. I wasn't
Mhm.
buying a bunch of like junk and crap because I knew if I had it, I would eat it. And so I just wouldn't even buy it.
Mhm.
And so that's when I felt the best, when I was super intentional about it. It was not fun getting up at 4 in the
Right.
morning, but I felt so much better when I would
Right.
do that. When I would come home from work, I would purposely like not sit down. I would immediately change clothes and back out the door again, because if I sat down, it
It
wasn't going
was
to
over.
happen. Yeah, it was
Right.
over. And so that's when I felt the best. And I was just on my own, like online, like, what's this workout? What's that workout? How long should I be doing cardio? How much weight
Mhm.
should I be lifting? And granted, I mean, Google is accessible, obviously to all of us, and there is a never ending amount of information, but
Never ending.
yeah, never ending. But I just started picking and choosing things that I thought would work for my body. And that's what I was doing.
Gotcha. Got you. Now, it sounds like you had some level of success during that. Like, what did you start to see um, when you got intentional, like you said?
I definitely saw the weight fall off.
Mhm.
I got down to about like 175, I think,
Nice.
which was amazing. I
Mhm.
felt like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe part of it was like this revenge body type thing. Like,
Yep.
whatever
Yep.
the motivation was, it worked.
It worked.
So
Whatever the motivation, it
whatever
got you.
whatever the motivation was, it worked. And
Mhm.
um, so yeah, I saw amazing results. I felt like my skin got better because I wasn't having so much sugar and
Yeah.
just mess and grease and junk like that. I
Mhm.
was sleeping so much better. I mean, obviously, I'm up at 4 in the morning. Going to bed was
You have to be
easy.
sleeping. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that was no problem. And I felt rested. I felt like, man, I think I actually like slept. I
Mhm.
slept. I really, my brain shut off and my body stopped, and
Mhm.
I actually felt rested. And so, um, yeah, I felt like my energy at the time. I was like living on the third floor, and so I was taking those stairs like it was nothing.
Right.
Whereas prior to, a walk to the mailbox would leave me winded. I'd have to come in and
Mhm.
like, oh, let me sit down for a second.
Right.
And now I'm going up 3 flights of stairs multiple times a day. I had a little dog, so I was walking. Like there was just, so I had so much more energy and vitality to my days. And I really saw a huge, huge shift during that time.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Was there anything that you felt that even though you were getting success that you could be doing better or have done better?
Definitely, I wasn't. I don't. The food part of it was something that I just wasn't educated on at all. I did not
Mhm.
know what was best for my body. I just knew I wasn't eating like I was before. That's all I
Okay.
knew. All I knew was, well, I'm not having sodas, or well, I'm not
Right.
at the drive-through all the time. And so, was I still probably having stuff that I shouldn't have? Of course,
Mhm.
but
We
I
all
was
do.
just comparing it to, yeah, I was just comparing it to what I had been doing before, and that just felt better for me. So the education piece is always something that I felt was missing, because I'm so limited in this is not what I do. It's not,
Mhm.
what I've spent years
Right.
studying and researching. And so my knowledge is going to be super limited. And if Google says this crystal light is okay, well, it's not a Coke, so I'm gonna have this crystal
Right.
light. In
Right.
hindsight, is it good? No, it's not.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
that was my bit of education that that I felt empowered with at that time. And so
Gotcha.
the education piece of food and nutrition and working out was always lacking. Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and so the beautiful thing about this is the fact that you stuck to what you knew,
Mhm.
You built the habit off of what you knew. And even though you couldn't change or didn't change the nutrition part, which is a major part of it, you still were able to see success
Mhm.
because you at least stuck on to one aspect of transformation. And I
Right.
mean, that says a whole lot. And a lot of people need to understand that, but they also need to understand you can't out train a bad diet. You
Very
can't.
true.
So,
Very true. No
um,
matter what.
right. But I'll be honest with you, I don't eat perfectly. I enjoy the foods that I want within moderation. But
Mhm.
a big part of the reason why I work out the way I do is so I can enjoy the foods in
Right.
moderation and not have all these negative effects that come along with it. So,
Right.
gotcha. Got so what did you want your health and fitness to actually look like? So if you painted the picture of what things were like, paint the picture of what in your head you wanted them to look like.
In my head, I wanted to be the person that woke up in the morning, got a good workout in, made a super healthy breakfast, went about my day, regardless of the temptations around me, not giving in, not saying yes to this sweet treat or this
Mhm.
burger or this whatever. And getting home, still having energy, getting another workout in, or maybe a walk or a jog, whatever. Ultimately, I wanted to be in control. I wanted to work out in a sports bra and tights like you see people
Mhm.
do like on TV or in the gym and
Mhm.
feel good about that. I wanted to be in control, and for so long I feel like I was out of control. I felt like food controlled me. It had mind control over me in a
Mhm.
sense. Like
Mhm.
if a commercial came on and it looked good, I would get my wallet, get my keys, get in my car and go and buy that.
And
Like
by that,
I
right.
and go and get that like in that moment,
Mhm.
like, oh my God, that looks so good. I gotta have it. And I'm out
Right.
the door.
Right.
And while it seems like, well, that's easy, just don't go and get it, I didn't have the self-control to not do that.
Okay.
And all I wanted was the self-control to say no and not feel like I was
Mhm.
missing out on something or not feel like I was depriving myself. I just wanted the ability to say no. I don't need that right now. I'm not going to have that.
Mhm.
That's not going to and having the ability to think beyond the moment of eating it, like what are you going to feel like after you eat this?
Mhm. The consequences. What are the
The
consequences of
consequences,
this
you are going
action?
to be
Yeah.
so upset with yourself. You're going to feel sluggish, you're going to feel
Mhm.
heavy, like going beyond just like, oh my God, it's going to taste so good. Thinking beyond that moment is something I just wanted to be in control. That's
Gotcha.
that's ultimately what I wanted.
Gotcha. You said you wanted to be able to work out in the sports bra and tights. Like, did
Yeah,
you have a
man.
goal, a target size you wanted to get to? Was there a
Um,
specific weight you wanted? Like,
I feel like my target size, it's so funny. I always said I just want to be in single digits, even if even if it's a short amount of time. I never really made it, but I got close. I got down to a 10 and I was like,
nice.
okay. Yeah, I was like, all right, okay, this is good. I can
Yeah.
handle this. Because if
Hmm.
I really discipline myself, then I can at least buy one pair of eights in something
There you
and
go.
just one
Right.
and just say I did it. I made
Okay. Perfect. So you were saying that you really wanted to you push to an 8, but you want to get to a 9. And here's one thing while we're talking about this that I want people to really understand, because I also asked you, what did you want the scale to look like?
Mhm.
And you've learned this from working with us. It's not so much the scale, your clothes fitting and how your clothes fit is a better factor of uh where you are than what the
Absolutely.
scale says. Because I've had women that I've trained and people that I've trained that built muscle, the scale didn't go down as much as they thought it was going to go down. But they're like, I'm fitting in a size 8, but I'm actually heavier than I thought I would be. Or
Mhm.
people look at them and they say, there's no way that person's 100 and whatever pounds.
Right.
There's absolutely no way. And you're like, no, it is, but I just built muscle, but they look
Right.
lean. And so that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Is you have to be careful how you judge yourself. Is I
Absolutely.
guess. because
Absolutely. And
judging
I
yourself
didn't
the wrong
learn
way is going to
that.
give you a lot of frustration.
Absolutely. And I didn't learn that until I started working with Divine Design. I did not learn that the scale that cannot be your Bible, that cannot be your law, because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to fluctuate, and that is not an accurate depiction or indication of the work that you're putting in. Seeing the scale move obviously feels great. It feels good to
Hmm.
see those numbers go down, but how you feel and how your clothes fit is always going to be a bigger indication. You've taught us that inches is what you want. Like,
Hmm.
that's what you want. And you think, man, inches, that's no big deal. But it is.
It's a very big
It
deal.
is a very big deal. It's a very, very big deal. And I didn't learn that until I started working out with Divine Design.
Got you. Got you. So, in your opinion, what specifically was literally holding you back from achieving optimum results when it came to your health and fitness?
Hmm.
You had the workouts
Making,
in.
man, making excuses and just being lazy.
Mm,
Um, I I find myself in the moments when Thursday at 5 o'clock rolls around, I'm like, I don't feel like it. I just don't want to do this. And immediately the thought comes to me that there is somebody out there who would love to get up and go and work out, who would
right.
love to pick up a weight, who would love to pick up a dumbbell, who would love to, like, they would love to be able to do that, but maybe they're bedridden or maybe they've got an injury
Mm,
or whatever the case may be, and they cannot. And so
amen.
I immediately am grateful for the ability to be mobile, to move my limbs. And I'm like,
Hmm.
all right, well, here we go. I do not want to do this. I do not feel like doing this, but I am so grateful that I still have the ability, and I'm not in so much pain that I can't, or I'm not so limited because of something that has happened to me or some injury that I've had.
Hmm.
And so that has been the shift for me. It's
Gotcha.
like every time the very next thought is, be grateful you can move your body.
Be grateful. Be
Yeah,
grateful.
yeah,
Yeah. That's a big one. Great. I mean, that's a tip for life in general. Be
yeah,
grateful. Always be grateful.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
and when you started working with us, like what prompted you to start working with us and say, "Hey, I'm gonna give this a try"? And did you have any like time frames of, "Hey, I want to lose this amount of inches or weight by this time"?
Um, you know what I did, because when I moved to Dallas, it was in the summer. It was
Hmm.
August of 2021, and I started working out with you guys. It had to be in the fall
Hmm.
sometime. You were starting a, I don't know if it was like a 30-day something. It was some sort of
Hmm.
something day something that you were starting. And I was like,
Right.
okay, there's no better time than this. If I start now, then maybe by September, which is my birthday, maybe by September, I'll see some significant results that will really make me feel like I put in the work, I've seen the results, and this is going to be sustainable.
Hmm.
Also, the education piece, knowing that you've been doing this for so long, you have so much knowledge, so much wisdom, you've seen so many different scenarios, you've seen so many different body types, from
Hmm.
pro athletes to
Hmm.
literally senior citizens and everybody in between. there's
Right.
not many there's not many scenarios you've been faced with that you don't know what to do with. And so I'm
Hmm.
like, well, my situation isn't going to be any different. Like,
Right.
surely he can help me figure out how to eat better, how to be more consistent, how to be more
Right.
focused on what I really want. And so um I thought if I start by the fall, then maybe by September of that next year, I'll
Mm.
feel so much better. I figured it would be before then, but that was me like giving a stretch goal, like, okay, at least by
Mhm.
September I can say, all right, this is the time that it took me to get to this point and to feel this way.
Gotcha.
How much better could I feel if I go further, and just kind of trying to time it out that way.
Gotcha. What was it? Was there a level of urgency? Like, sometimes people something just shakes them and wakes them up. Was there some sense of urgency to you achieving your goal when you decided to really start working with us?
I think I saw a picture of myself and I was like, all them chins are belong to me. Like, I saw, I saw a picture of
Not all
myself and
them
I was
chins.
like, wait, what? Oh my gosh, how did this happen? So that definitely like, yeah, I was like, wait. I mean, I see myself all the time. You look at yourself in the
Hmm.
mirror, whatever.
Hmm.
But I don't even remember what picture it was. I'm gonna have to try to find it. But I remember
Mm,
looking at that picture thinking, oh man, it happened again. Like you let yourself go.
mm,
You got too
mm,
comfortable. You got too complacent. You've let too much time go by, and here you are again. Here
mm,
you are again. And so the urgency was like, this can't keep happening. This has
right.
to be a once and for all type thing. This has to You've got to make progress and you've got to stick with it because you can't end up here again. This is Yeah.
That's yeah. Yeah. You circled around. You thought you defeated it and came right back and got
Man,
you.
came right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we all go through that. I mean, nobody's perfect. That's why the biggest thing in this journey is trying to make it a lifestyle. Um,
Right. Right.
but giving yourself the grace to know, yeah, I'm not going to be perfect. There's going to be
Mhm.
days I miss a workout. But one of the rules I think I taught you guys, and I teach a lot of my clients is try to never let go 2 days go by without
Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just an easy, fast rule to say, hey, yesterday I didn't work out. Tomorrow I'm at least doing something.
Right. Right.
So got you. So what kind of value would you say once you started working with Divine Design Fitness? I guess before we talk about the value part, what made working out with us different for you?
Man, the accountability, the community, um, the pushing, the challenging made it so much different. I did I can't remember the name of it. Oh, I did Camp Gladiator
Mm-hmm,
back
hmm.
in Houston for 6 months.
Hmm.
And it was great. I saw great results. I was really proud
Yeah.
of myself because those workouts are all outside.
Hmm.
That,
And the
that
tough
ain't,
workouts.
man,
Yeah.
they're very tough in Houston in the summer.
Heat,
In
humidity.
Houston in the summer.
Summer
Was
outside.
I crazy? Yes, I was. I
Right.
was definitely crazy.
You're gonna lose
But
weight,
you go,
but
yeah, I lost weight in my mind at the same time.
right.
Um, but there wasn't accountability. I mean,
Mm,
if you miss too many workouts, yeah, you might get an email or something like that. But
mm,
um, comparing it to that, I didn't really get to know anybody. I would see familiar faces all the
mm,
time, and we might know each other's name or something like that, and give a high five at the end of a workout or
mm,
whatever. But what made Divine Design so divine is
mhm.
that the accountability is very genuine. Because why aren't you here? What are you doing? Where are
Right.
you? I haven't seen, like, you've missed. What's going on?
Right.
Even when you show up and you seem a little off, or or even whether it's via text or
Mhm,
whatever the case may be, like the check-ins, the like, how are you feeling, are you okay, are you good? The accountability was is top tier.
that's all.
And again, whether you're working out in the app and it's tracking how many workouts you've done,
Mhm.
too many of those missed workouts in the app is like, you getting a text message, like
Right.
you're getting a phone call. You good? What's going on? What do you need?
Right.
What's up? And
Right.
so that makes a huge difference because somebody actually cares.
That's a
Somebody
big part of
actually
this. Somebody
cares
actually
and
cares.
knows that something is going on, something is off. What do you need? What can we do?
Mhm.
That makes a world of a difference.
Yeah. And you said that something that really stuck out to me, and I haven't really thought about this, is again somebody that actually cares. Not all the time is it a workout that's needed. Life
Absolutely.
life be lifing, and
Every chance she gets.
life be lifing. And sometimes they're just like, "Hey, Marin, yo, I today was a tough day."
Yes.
And sometimes you just have to sit and
Yes.
relax or be still or
Yes.
okay, let's talk this through, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
um and that's the part where for me fitness is more about the person than the thing.
Right.
Fitness is more about overall health, not, oh, I want 8 pack but I want a 6 pack or 8 pack, but I want to be crazy
Right.
or I want to
Right.
be stressed out and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Like, no,
Yeah.
you have to have some semblance of balance, and that's a
Yeah.
big thing with us. So,
Yes. Huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
got you. What kind of stuff have you learned since you've been working out with us that might have been different than items that you or things that you had thought you knew or knew and maybe did a mind shift from working with us?
Man, knowing how vital protein is,
Mm, mm.
oh my gosh, and how much of it you have to try to like
Actually get in.
intake. It
Right.
is so difficult. It's so
Mm,
difficult. But when you get all of your numbers broken down and you get
hmm.
this slip of paper handed to you that tells you how much protein you need to intake and
Right.
how much of a difference it will make in your body, I mean,
Huge.
mind blown. Huge mind shift.
Right.
Different form of workouts. I mean,
Mhm.
changing the timing and the pace of how you do
Mm,
things,
mhm.
moving and shifting something one way, and like the difference that that makes is like, wait, what? You
Right.
know, and like the knowledge that you have of like, well, now you're working something different. And you're like,
Mhm.
but all I did was turn the weight this way. Exactly. That's all. Like these
That's
minor
all it takes.
shifts changes the muscle that you're working.
Mhm.
Slowing down actually is so much more productive than you trying to crank out like 50 reps. Like stuff
Mhm.
like that, that I would just go in the gym and like do something really fast and crank out a bunch of reps, not
Right.
realizing like, I mean, you're doing something, but not nearly as what you could be doing if you had the knowledge of slowing down, increase
Mhm.
that weight, doing less reps is going to be so
Right.
much more productive. All of these things I've learned by working out with Divine Design, because there is an education component that you have to get from someone that has the experience in it. And that just because Google is going to probably give you like a blanket, but
Mhm.
it's not
Mhm.
one size fits all. Fitness is not one
Right.
size fits all any more than faith is. It's very
No
different
more than
for
faith.
everybody
Mhm.
based on the season of life you're in, what you can and can't do. We can't all lift the same weight. We can't all do
Right.
the same amount of reps with the same intensity.
Right.
Um, and you have to have somebody that works out with you enough to know what you can
Mhm.
do and to push you. Man,
That push.
that push, like, no, go ahead and get that 35. What?
Wait, 35. Fives, maybe tens. Like, no,
Maybe
no.
like no,
Right.
no, put that down. You're beyond that. And
Mhm.
having someone that knows I'm pushing you because I care. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm
Mhm.
not trying to punish you. I'm pushing you because if you've got goals, this is how
Mhm.
you get there. You've got to be
Mhm.
pushed. You've got to be
Mhm.
pushed. And
Mhm.
you will get the push in Divine Design. You will get the push.
When you said that, I'm not trying to hurt you, I'm pushing you because I care, it just made me think of how God deals with us. Like,
Man.
we were just talking about that yesterday, like how we sit
Mm,
there and we go through stuff and we ask God to take it away or
yeah,
remove this situation and always come back to my grace is sufficient. Like, I'm not doing this to hurt you. There's a
right.
goal, there's a place I need you to get to, and I need you to carry the load,
Yeah,
so to speak,
right.
and build strength and build resistance in this so you can flourish in what's next.
And trust
So
me. Trust me. There has to
trust. Yeah.
be trust in a client trainer relationship. I have to trust that
Right.
you've been doing this for a very, very long time. For several
Hmm.
years, you have put in the work that I have not put in.
Hmm.
You have done the research, you've read the books, you've
Hmm.
studied, you know what you're talking about. And either I trust that you do or I don't.
Hmm.
And so if I'm constantly going to be combative with everything that you tell me, at some point it's like, do you even believe I know what I'm doing?
Right.
You
Right.
know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
Do you think I'm just arbitrarily telling you to do this or telling you to do it this way? I know what I'm doing and I need you to trust me.
Mhm.
That trust with your trainer, again, just like you said, goes back to that trust with God. Like either
Mhm.
we trust him or we don't.
Right.
He knows
Either
us.
we
He
do or we don't.
created us. And so either you do or you don't. And it won't always feel good in the moment. It's never going to feel good.
Never gonna feel good in the
It's
moment.
never going to feel good in the moment. But when you look
Mhm.
back and you see the results, or you look back and you see how he carried, like there's just, you just come back to like, wow, it's so worth it.
Yeah, and then you look back and you're like, I don't even feel like I did anything or went through anything, but I
Right.
see the results.
Yes.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you touched on something too. If you could speak to how faith and fitness correlated to you with working with us, like how did that? Had you ever thought about that correlation before? And
Never.
then if no or yes, once you start working with us, how did that correlation shift your thinking?
I had never put those two things together. And I came to salvation at 19. So I had
Okay.
never ever put those two together. And when I heard that was the foundation of this
Mhm.
company, I'm like, well, how do you marry those two things? Like, what does one have to do with the other? Like,
Right.
I mean, I guess I can kind of get it, but like, what? And it's just, it was like opening, it was like peeling an onion. And there
Mhm.
are just so many layers and so many parallels
Mhm.
to our faith and our fitness and strength and endurance and trust and being challenged and being pushed and being patient. Like all of these things are
Mhm.
direct parallels. I mean, you
Mhm.
cannot do one workout and expect to see significant
Result.
results the very next morning, any
Right.
more than you can pray one prayer and expect to see your entire life turned around by the time you wake up.
Amen.
Like that's just,
Amen.
it
Or
just
pray about it and
doesn't.
don't put in the work.
And don't you just, you just, I'm gonna go and do this workout, but then I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go get this pizza and these wings. What, I worked out, so surely I'll be slim in the morning. Okay.
Right. Right.
Good luck
Right.
with
Right.
that. Good luck with that.
Like
But knowing
that's not how grace really works, but
that's not it. But I mean, if you want to, I mean, do what you do, but
right.
knowing that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Our walk
Mhm.
with God and our walk with our bodies and our fitness is a lifestyle, and it is something that you have to live out and practice and learn every single day. Um,
Mhm.
just like we can learn something new about fitness every day, we can learn something brand new
Mhm.
about God every day. We will never get to the point of knowing completely all that He
Who
is,
God
why
is.
He does
Right.
why He does things the way He does them. We'll never fully know that. We have all eternity to attempt to really
Mhm.
know God, and so seeing the parallels not only in scripture but in the workouts and
Mhm.
in the constant parallels that this man has with faith and
Oh.
fitness is honestly obnoxious. Like it's real, but it's like, how do you make that make sense here? Like,
Right.
how does that apply here? But
Right.
somehow it does. it
The
it
gym
does.
is my
Like
pulpit. Like, I swear, I don't think
literally,
about this I don't
literally.
sit around and think about this stuff all day. I get it in that space and it just
And then
starts
it just
coming out.
pops out. Like,
Right.
I mean, scripture says, study to show thyself approved, and he does. And so you're just like, like, what? That doesn't even make sense, but it makes sense. Like, what?
Right.
And then, you pick up the weight and you do your reps because now you're frustrated.
Right. Right. But you can't say nothing back because I
Right,
just caught it with the
right,
word.
right, right. Because it's like, well, you want to argue with scripture? I mean, do you want to be that one? Do you really?
Awesome.
Crazy.
Awesome. So what kind of value would you place on this? Like, just overall, what in the time that you tried to do it by yourself to the time that you've worked with us, like what kind of overall value, however you want to define the term value, would you put on the time you've had with us?
Man, this is such a loaded question,
Mhm.
because the what divine design fitness is worth, um, monetarily is astronomical because you get so much more. What you get is, man, it far outweighs what would come out of your pocket.
Mm,
Um, it is 1000% worth whatever the charge is, whatever the fee is, it's worth that exponentially.
mm,
Um, you get a community of people that are genuine, no matter where you are in the world,
right.
you get a community of people that are genuine. You get workouts that can be modified, that are 100% effective. You do not need a like 50 pieces of equipment
Mm-mm.
to feel like you've done you. I promise you, you do not. Trust me.
Oh
Trust
man,
me.
you guys get worried when I say, "Hey, we're just gonna work with this one resistance band today."
Just this one. We just need this one green or this one, and it don't matter the color because it's like,
Mhm.
oh, well, that's the lighter one. Okay.
It made me think about David and Saul. He was like, "Oh, take on all my armor so you can go kill
So you
Goliath." And
can,
he was like, "I
yeah,
can't use all this." He just had a rock and a
that's
sling.
it. That's it.
That's all I need is a resistance
That's
band, y'all.
all he needs is one band. Like
One band,
that's
one sound.
that's it. And I mean, you will limp to your car afterwards. Like like it's just it doesn't make sense, but it does.
Right.
Um, yeah, so you get this incredible community no matter where you are. You get these incredibly effective workouts. You get someone that cares about more than just your body. They care about your heart, the
Mm,
character of the person that you are, how you treat people, how you live your life outside of a gym,
mm,
outside of a workout. All that matters. Because again, what good is it to be somebody that has a six pack, but you have an ugly heart?
mm,
Like I
mhm.
mean, that's great, but there's so many people walking around like that. Like your physique and your body is top tier,
Right.
but your character is gross. Like
Yeah.
you treat people horribly
What good is it to gain the whole world? But
and lose your soul. Like
yeah, yeah.
you look amazing, but you just you won't see the kingdom,
Mhm,
unfortunately. And so
mhm,
here is a company that says the vitality of both of those things, of both of those components, are equally important to you. Um, like you said, sometimes it's not just a workout. Sometimes you need that workout to be a distraction from whatever day you've had. And
mhm,
sometimes you just need to sit and have a conversation. Sometimes you just need to sit and say, this is what's happening. This is what's on my heart. Help. I've got this problem. Help. I need help.
mhm,
And you cannot get that by walking into your local Lifetime Fitness. You will
mhm,
get all kinds of great bells and whistles, and that's great. And you'll
mhm,
probably get a trainer who is very knowledgeable, and that's great.
mhm.
But when you need more than that, when you need encouragement on a Wednesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because you're ready to
Mhm.
choke one of your coworkers, you can open this app
Right.
and there's a word for you that
Right.
is very timely. Like how many people can say that? And so I, prior to discovering Divine Design Fitness, had never seen the parallels of faith and fitness together. And what you guys have done with this here is married the two in such a way that is so seamless. And he's not preaching at you all the time
Oh,
any
no.
more
No.
than he's yelling at you to drop and give me 20. It's not that. It's all about consistency. It's all about the
Mm,
knowledge that you have, the work that you've put in, and the way that in your mind it's like, I'm not going to just crank out people that have nice bodies. I want to
mhm.
crank out people that are serving God, that are loving people, that are loving other people well, that are
Mm.
loving my neighbor, and that are ultimately trying to have heaven be their eternal reward. Because
Right.
I
Right.
mean, that's why we're here. What else?
Mhm. You're here to be
What
in the
else is
kingdom.
there? What else
Right.
is there?
Right. 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 There. What else is there? I can't
What
even
else is
add to
there? Yeah.
that. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, what would you tell anybody that it happens to watch this video, or people out there that are thinking, I need to get in shape. I want to get in shape. I don't know if this is the route for me in general, whether they work with Divine Design Fitness or find somebody else, and also maybe somebody that's on the fence of saying they want to give us a try, Divine Design Fitness, and give this faith based fitness a try. What would you say to them?
I would say just start and ask all your questions.
Mhm.
Because you will have questions. You will
Right.
wonder like, I don't want somebody preaching it. I just want to work out. I just want to be skinny. I just want to look good in my swimsuit. I don't want all that preaching stuff. That's
Mhm.
fine. That's fine. That's fine if that's how
Mhm.
you feel. that's fine. But start somewhere. And whether it's
Mhm,
here with Divine Design Fitness or with some other company, some other
mhm,
trainer, some other gym, whatever, you have to start. You have to take that first step about inquiring at least, okay, what services do you offer? How much does this cost? How can I get involved? Whatever. You have to start somewhere. And that
right,
first step is just inquiring. And
mhm,
so if you feel like, I mean, I kinda can see how the 2 go together. It's just ask your questions. Ask
mhm.
all the I promise you this man will have an answer for you.
And I'm not
And if he
gonna
doesn't
preach at
have
you.
one, he's not gonna preach at you. If he doesn't have an answer in the moment, he will find the answer. He will circle back to you and answer the question that you have, but start
Mm,
somewhere.
starts.
Knowing that you need to do something, having that feeling that you need more than what you're doing, you need somebody that knows more than you
Mhm,
need a community of people, whatever it may be, take the first step to at least inquire, to at least figure
right,
out how does this work? How can this work for me? How can I, what is it that I need to do? Take the first step and go to the website, ask the
mhm,
questions, read about the information, just like you would do anything else or anywhere else.
right.
You would at least go and look and see, well, what do y'all have to offer? What can
Right.
you do for me? At
We
least
do it for
take that
food.
first step.
We go to
We
Yelp.
do, listen, we
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 go to
study
food
menus
place,
before we get to the restaurant, so we know
but
what we
won't
want
do
when we get there.
exactly. But
But
we
we'll
won't do it
not
for our
do
own health.
that. Won't do it for our own health. Won't do it
Yeah.
for our own hearts. And so let that be the shift that you take with this. Let this be the
Mhm,
time that you say, all right, I'm gonna at least give it a chance. If it's
mhm,
one workout and you hate it, all right, don't come back.
mhm, mhm,
But at least you did more than just saying, I need to do more. I need to check this
mhm.
out. I need to try something different. Actually do it this time. And
Right.
you will not, I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Erica. I appreciate you so much. I
Absolutely.
appreciate your time. I'm excited to continue to work with you and continue to get you to those goals. You had amazing results. Let's finish this. Let's talk about the results. What kind of results have you seen ever since working with
Oh
us?
man. I've seen incredible results. I When I first started, I feel like, yeah, I was probably at a 16. I was still fitting into 16s and 14s. I'm comfortably in a 12 now.
Mhm,
I like can buy mediums, which is not something I have been able to do for a very, very long time.
mhm.
I have so much more energy. I feel so much stronger. Um, the challenge and the push. I am the one, okay, that gets challenged
The
and gets
pushback.
pushed. Yes, I am the pushback queen. I get told to pick up a heavier dumbbell. I do not like it, but I can see the progression of how much stronger I've gotten since I started. I can My job, I'm an event coordinator, and so a lot of times I'm lifting heavy boxes, I'm moving this,
Mhm.
I'm moving things around, and it shocks people sometimes that are like, "You need help?" And I'm like, "No, I got it." Like, and not to be Miss Independent,
Right.
but no, I actually got it. It's because I've built up the strength and endurance to be able to do it through Divine Design Fitness. Um, I I've rest better. I sleep much better. I make cognizant choices about the things I eat. It's not always perfect. Let me be
Mhm,
very clear. It is
mhm,
not
mhm.
always perfect, but I feel like I can make the decision to say no. I'm not going to have that, or I'm only going to have half of that, or you
Right.
know what? I do want a piece of that cookie, and I'm done with it after that.
Mhm,
As
mhm,
opposed to feeling like I need to finish it. I'm getting in my car. I'm going to eat this right now. I'm going to eat this whole
mhm.
pizza. I am in control to say I'm good. No, I
Right.
don't want any, or I can have a bite or a piece, and I'm done with it. And so the mind shift, the heart shift
Mhm.
that I've gotten from Divine Design Fitness is again not something I would have been able to get just at a random gym. I'm sure I would have gotten results,
Right.
but I don't know that I would have been this consistent. Definitely would not have gotten this type of community. Um, Definitely don't feel that I would have been challenged and pushed nearly as much. Even when I kick back, even when I'm like, just let me get this lighter one. Like, no, you're beyond that.
Right.
We're
Right.
not taking steps back. What are we doing? Like, no,
Right.
we're moving forward. This is part of moving forward. And so um I'm forever grateful for the results that I've
Thank you.
gotten from Divine Design Fitness. I'm forever grateful for your wisdom, for your determination, for how you care about people, not just come and do this workout. it's not just that, and it
Mhm.
shows in the way that you care for your clients and the way that you talk to them and the way that you're constantly thinking, how can I make this better, how can I improve this, how can
Right.
I make this a better experience, how can I elevate this experience, how can I, what else do you need from me, how can I be more giving of myself and of the
Mhm.
knowledge that I've gained. You're constantly learning, and I find that people, when they become a professional in something, feel like they don't need to. I mean, I'm, I've been doing this 20 plus years. What are you going to tell me that I don't know? But you are
Right.
constantly learning. You're constantly educating yourself. And um, I am just so excited to see what this next year has for me. I want to take my goals and elevate them and really, really push myself and stop being so lazy and stop making so many excuses and stop complaining so much. Ugh, yes, I'm saying it here on camera and it's been recorded. I know he's gonna
Oh, I'm gonna
play this
play this
back
back.
to me. I already
I'm gonna
know.
edit this piece right
He's
here and
gonna
just be
edit this
like,
piece. And the minute I get to talking smack, he's gonna be like, give me 2 seconds.
right, right.
Out of your mouth, you know? So
There
I'm
you
just really, really looking forward to all that um God is gonna do with Divine Design Fitness, because there's so much in store, and Divine Design Fitness to the world.
go. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's our goal, is to get the body of Christ back in shape and continue to add to the
Absolutely.
body of Christ at the same time. So
Absolutely. Yeah. We're getting rid of church fat all
oh,
2024.
no church fat no more.
No church.
No, I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. No
Yes,
church
no more church fat.
fat. Oh man. Well, thank you so much, Erica. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you for being a great friend.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I just thank you very much. You've been a invaluable asset um, for us, and just a person that we're always going to cherish. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank y'all for
Thank you.
everything.